There we go. Now I'm going to bend this up right at a 90 degree. Now I know I have one box to the left and one box to the right. So I'm going to mark 22 plus our 13, which makes it 35. Now this one goes the other way, so I'll mark 13 again. So it's going to be 38, 48. And now that's going to leave us with 22 inches. So they're opposites. And where's my square? There it is. I'm going to use my 2-foot square. Square up. Square up. And there we go. It's not all the way to the top, but it's all right. Now I'm going to cut this thing in the middle here. I just got the 2 pieces. I could have done these separately, but I don't know. I've gotten used to doing them together. Alright, so there's one. Here's the other. This is the left side box, and then the other one's the right side box. I'm going to cut this just a little bit past the 90 and about a 45 thereabouts, just like that. I go to this end of the brake with this one. With the other one I have to go to the other end because this longer piece doesn't fit all the way in there. I'm just kind of getting that to go down and put it right on that mark. And clamp it there. Now I'm pinching this part in and putting the 45 on the bottom. See how I made that overlap? Okay, right up to a 90. There we go. We got one of the boxes. Like I said, this is gonna go on the left side of the wall. And this one will go on the right side. Same thing here. Doesn't really matter which way I put my 45. I like to put it the same way just because the way the snip's cut. If I went this way, it's harder to get all the way tight in there. And right on my mark once again. Clamper, and putting the 45 on the bottom again. Careful not to bend it too far because you'll start to crease it right here. There we go, we got both our boxes. And I'll show you how I do a hem. Go 1/2 inch. Just putting it there just to hold it. And a 1/2 inch here. Now I have to put the 1/2 inch going in because this bending mechanism here is 3/4 out, and if I try to put the 1/2 inch out this way, that's just gonna push it back in, and it's not gonna make a nice crisp bend. Okay, there we go, we got the 1/2 inch going all the way up. Clamp that, and I'm pulling this out and just bending that up tight. Okay. Now this thing was 70, so I'm just gonna cut it in half. That'll get us both sides. It'll be for sure long enough on both sides. It only really needs to be 2 foot because it's got to go like that on this. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Okay, now we have our gable metal. We got the boxes. We got the hems. And now we're going for the gable metal. I like to bend 10-foot pieces. I have a 12-foot 6 brake. But if I do 12-foot pieces, then out of a 50-foot piece of roll of metal, I actually end up with 2 feet left over, which I do there, but that's a different story. Usually I'm bending all my metal at once, all my gable metals, all my flat metals. That's all my flat metals right there. They're a little bit different dimensions. All right, so what we got is 5.5. Then that shadow bend comes out 3/4, so I gotta add 3/4 to the 5.5, which brings us to 6.25, which is, I guess I can draw it out for you guys. The profile of the metal is gonna go like this. Do, 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 do. This bottom leg is gonna be 1.5 inches. This middle bend is 5.5 from there to there. And then this is 3/4. And then this is 2.5 from there to there. Okay? So I'm gonna skip this 1.5 inches because this thing actually does that for me. So I'm just gonna clamp it at all these measurements combined and then let that add the 1.5 inches for me. Okay, so we got 5.5 plus our 3/4, which is 6.25, plus the 2.5, which is 6 3/4, plus 2, 8 3/4. So 8 3/4 is where we want to clamp those things. I have these little guides back here that help me out. I just butt right into it. And they're especially helpful if you're bending a bunch of metal all at once, because you can take your rolls of metal and I'll cut all the pieces. I'll cut all the pieces to 10 foot and then just lay them aside, and I'll take them in there and just boom, cut it, bend it, take the next one, boom, cut it, bend it. So you're able to have a process that you can repeat. Repeat the process over and over again. Whenever you have a process that you can repeat over and over again, you're being efficient. Okay, got that cut. And I have my brake buddy here, which puts that profile that I showed you. That thing is pretty nifty. What I'm going to do is let it drop down a little bit, push it in, clamp it, and now I can bend it up. And what that did was it made this bottom leg a little bit smaller than 1.5 inches. It added a little bit on the top. It's quite all right. It's still going to work out well. Okay. Now we had 5.5. What I'm demonstrating now is that I already have this thing set to the center. This thing right here slips right on right there. And I'm gonna hold it tight against this side here. And you can see now I'm putting that profile right in the middle of the piece. See, it's about 2 5/8 to the center of it. About 2 5/8 to the center. If I wanted to adjust it, I just unlock that, and this thing slides back and forth. So there we go. Now I'll make my mark at 5.5. And like I've showed you before, if you've been around for a minute, 5.5 there. 5.5 here. Is I have a little trick to help speed up your metal bending if you're doing it in bulk. If you have a bunch of pieces to bend that are the same, this has saved me quite a bit of time. Almost a trade secret here. There we go, right at 5.5 on both sides. And this is the trick here. Get that bent up. That wasn't the trick. Setting it aside. That piece of metal is not fully bent yet. You'll see why in a second here. When I'm barely clamping that, I'm sliding it back and forth to ensure that I'm not twisting the metal actually. Okay. Letting it drop down a little bit, sliding it in. So I end up with about 1 3/8 or 7 16 leg on the bottom. There we go. And clamping it out there once again. This brake buddy you can use in either direction. Pro cutoff wheel only goes in one direction. And here's the trick. Put that on top of there. Pinching it tight right there and pushing it tight against there. You gotta come at it with a little bit of speed. And look at that. Clamps it right on and right on. I'm not doing a bunch of little micro adjustments. And like I said before, that mechanism is 3/4. So when I pop it in there and just make sure it's tight, it makes this shadow bend at 3/4. So I got 2 more pieces to bend. Honestly, I might actually run out of metal. Okay, what do we got? I know we need 1.5 inches there, and then we need the 8 3/4 plus 1.5 inches, 9 1/4, 10 1/4. Okay, well that's just big enough. Letting that settle down, pushing it in, clamp it there, bend it up. Oh, excuse me. One thing you want to make sure is you don't clamp it too far in, because then this wheel will start to hit that and it'll push it off track. Okay, well, what do we got here? 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches, a little strong. That actually worked out really well, so I just need to slide it in a bit, bend it up. This was a piece that was shorter than the 2 foot that it usually is, because I had cut a strip out of it. There we go. Right on. And right on. As I've said in previous videos, my tolerance for metal is pretty much zero. If you're 32nd off, this should be okay, but I try to get it right on. Even a 1/16 is pretty good. You see now I'm finishing that bend off. So now I have 4 pieces of gable metal, which I don't think is quite enough to do that gable, but I'll have to see about getting some more metal. So you guys have the idea of what I was doing there. And we're gonna go right out the window. Alright, I'll be back when I gotta when I get all the stuff out there. Alright. Alright, and we're back. First thing is first, put on some F channel and some soffit. What we'll do is we will get this line right here. We'll scribe this up so I know where to stop that F channel. This block doesn't reach all the way to the top there. Oh, I wanted that piece. Oh well. It's a little windy out today, guys. Actually, I do have some scraps of F channel. Probably would be a little better if I could start with a scrap. But, oh well. I'll start with a full, because that's what I'm holding. It's a little better because that top tends to sag down. Okay, so right there, I'm about with that line. And what I'm going to do is staple in the middle of that hole there. Middle there. And that should be close to where it's supposed to be. I'm just letting that top hang down for now. That can affect the bottom. So you just need to make sure that you're hitting that line we made there with this inside corner. And these blocks are 7 1/4. So if I set it 7 1/4 to the top of the F channel, that's right on. So there we go. Got our F channel on. Gonna grab a couple pieces of soffit. I think I'll be able to reach 4 pieces. And as long as I'm past this mark, this plane right here, or with that there, my the leg that I'm going to bend on that box will cover the bottom of the soffit. So I could have went further in if I wanted to. Not necessary to though. And there goes my metal. It's windy out. Thought I had it propped up where it wasn't gonna fall, but I'm gonna have to go down and grab it. I'm hoping that it survived the fall. Probably got dented up. I might have to bend a new piece. That's a bummer. I'll go do this side too. Get this F channel on over here. Get high enough so I can reach a bit. And that one already has a line there. I'll go right with that bottom of the block. Right in the middle again. And we're 7 1/4 to the top of it. Right on. Okay. Probably grab. I think I can actually reach 5 pieces over here. I won't make you guys go bend the metal again with me. You guys already know how to do that now. running low on white nails too. That one cracked a little bit. It'll be alright though, because our bottom leg of metal is 1.5 inches, so it's going to be well inside there. Alright, I'm going to have to go down and grab that and maybe bend a new piece. So I'll be back. Alright. Back at it. Once again, stapling on the block to hold it straight, and then in the middle, that's 2 feet apart, I feel like is too far apart. There we go. I think I'll have enough soffit on after these few pieces to get my piece of fascia metal on then. Mint. Okay. I want to go actually probably as short as I can with this. So I'm going to measure right to that point, and I'll go 22.25. I'm measuring to right there. I'll leave it a little bit long. Usually I leave myself a little more, but 2 pieces doesn't reach to the top. I want to try to get that top out of a scrap that I have here. So we shall see. This guy here got dinged up pretty good. Had a lot of windy days here. Might have something to do with being right on the pond. Or it could be that it's been fall. Okay. You don't blow away, please. And hopefully I can swing this bungee up and grab it. There we go. There we go. We're 22.25. Right there. There's that mark right there. And I'm going to knife off that edge. Go. And I need the hem. And the wind is trying to take this. gonna slide it down until that cutout hits right there. You guys can probably see that. So right there, we're perfect. And I'm gonna start a nail just to hold it there so I can mark it out. A little bit in. Don't need to go crazy with it. This makes it already holding itself there. And I'm gonna scribe on this bottom here. That's gonna let me know where to put that hem. And oh boy, I can't really reach that. I gotta slide my plank over. Getting caught on this end here. There we go. Now you guys can see what I'm doing here, hopefully. Gonna mark this bottom. Mark this edge here. And then the rest I can figure out because I already know the height of my strapping bend for my flat metal. Give that guy a little twist. There you go. I know that it's a 3/4 inch step for the strapping, and I know that I bent my flat metal at 4 3/4, so that's all the information I really need. And I'm not gonna put any tabs on this. I'm gonna put all my tabs on my flat metal because I like that way better. So I'm not gonna nail this end. I'm not going to nail the end of this metal until I do the other wall over there. Okay. Now, hoping the wind doesn't take this thing. 4 3/4 off of there, which is actually like right there on that edge. Now I'm coming back 3/4 right there, and this is also at a 10 pitch, so setting it there, and it's a little bit of guesswork. I could probably do a little better, but as long as it's looking pretty good there, it looks straight with that one, I know I'm good. So I'll just go right with that. Looks like it's 3/4 over. Snip that off, and now this goes back in square. I'll fold that up. It's on the wrong side right now, but that's just to cut it. Okay. And see how that's on the wrong side? I want to pull that up just a bit, pinch that down, and fold it onto the other side. Okay, now when the other metal comes in, it'll tuck behind that and there too. And I forgot to put on the hem. Okay. Oh goodness. Okay. I'm gonna throw this around there just so it doesn't fly away on me. Okay. Now the hem. guessing where it's going to hit there. Doesn't have to be exact, it looks nice, even if it's short, like an 1/8 inch or so. And this is just to hold that bottom edge of the metal. Don't have to put any nails in it. Don't blow away. The wind is rugged today. Okay, right there. Once again, I'm kind of angling a little bit. I can nail pretty close to the bottom without hitting that rolled edge right there. I'm gonna bring that out just a little bit with my knife. I'm just using it to twist on that a bit. See, that's gonna hold this bottom of the metal now. I won't have to put any nails, any face nails. That'll stay there for now. And kind of trying to fight the wind a little bit. There we go. Good, it went on the right side of that. Sometimes it'll sneak on the wrong side of that. This will go under there. And I'm just feeling it, that it's right on the end there. Yeah, looking good, looking good. And if I use the same nail hole, I know it's in the same spot it was before when I marked it out. Sir, and that bent over. Lovely, lovely. Must have hit a knot. Okay. Gotta be so careful. Pretty much have to use that nail hole. I don't want to start marking it up. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna pause you. Oh wait. Yeah, I'll pause it. Somebody wanted my money. State firefighters. Whoops. Careful. I thought I had another nail in my hand. I must have dropped it. These gloves are pretty nice. I can actually feel these little tiny nails for the most part. I can reach it, maybe. Come on. All right. Beautiful. There you go. Got the pork chop all taken care of. Everything's all white and looking nice. And guess I can go down this side, continue to soften it up, and get that F channel nailed on. J channel. somebody asking for donations calling me. What I'll do down here is just gonna measure up a little bit short of 10 feet, make a mark, and put my first piece of metal on. When I get up a little bit higher, that way I can do the box and everything down below. I don't have the metal for that. Well, I had it bent, but it fell. Thought I heard somebody. So I bend this metal at 10 foot, so I'm gonna hook right on that corner, and there's 10 foot right there. So if I put the first piece starting right there, I'll have a 2-inch overlap. I'll start that piece going up right there. Alright, what did we have now? We had a full piece that I already cut like a foot off of, I think. And then it was still pretty close to the end there, so. And the next one was supposed to be a 4 foot off. So we'll go about 5 feet off, and that should work out pretty well. What kind of noise is my phone making? Never heard it make that noise before. Oh, got a, come on, sometimes it works. Moon and Jupiter are in conjunction. Just so you guys know, December 1st. Tonight, almost at midnight. Every once in a while, that app will give me a notification. Sometimes it'll tell me when the International Space Station is going by. And, well, I think it goes by like every, I don't know, every 10 hours or every 6 hours. So that's a bit much. I don't need to know every time the ISS flies over my head. But that is kind of, it's a pretty cool app. I've enjoyed it. You can look up in the sky and see where Mars is, or where the constellations are. Alright, so this one would have been a 4 foot off, or would have been a 4'6", so I'll just go 4 foot with it. Kind of working my way back to the layout that I want, hoping that it works out alright on the end. Ooh, snipping everything. Everything's wanting to blow away on me, so really trying to tuck it into places. Every once in a while you get all these black hairs. I think it's some of the factory workers. Must be dark-haired people in the factory. It ain't me. I'm blonde hair, blue eyes. You see that? It's a little bit close over there. I'm gonna let it fly now. That way I can get it back to where I want it. Okay, I will start to, well, I only have 2 enders to throw in. Let's see, this one I think is too short. Ooh, shoe tort. Shoe tort. How about this guy? Oh, that'll be perfect. You see that nail fin cracked a little bit right there. That's all right. It's not going to affect anything. Oh, come on. You might be wondering how those guys managed to take 20 hours on this same gable that takes me 8 hours. And I was kind of watching them, and they had 2 guys up on the plank, 1 guy down on the ground, and the guys up on the plank they were calling measurements down. For each piece of siding, calling measurements down for every piece. Now, I'm just doing this myself, and you saw I cracked that piece, but it's still much faster. I'm not fighting my tape measure. Trying to get your tape measure to hold on to the end. don't think I'm gonna want this one. You're trying to hook on right there. It's not that hard to do, but when it's windy out like today, your tape measure can start falling down on you. So a lot of times it was a two-man process just to measure a piece. And then tell the guy on the ground, yell down the measurement. The guy on the ground can hardly hear him. What? 22 and 5/8. Oh, okay. And he'd cut it, and he'd either hook it up to a rope and they could pull it up, or he'd climb it up a ladder and hand it to him. Each piece of siding, every starter, every ender. It takes a lot of time to do it that way. You take everything up with you and cut it right where you're at. Save a lot of time. Now I'm back to my 4 foot and then 8 foot off. Move my overlaps to the way I like them. That one is a little bit close to that edge. There we go. Okay. I did save one. I probably could have saved that other piece. Let's see what we got. 4'6" maybe? Close enough. Now, if you have a saw table and you're working on a wall that you can cut lots of books, they call them a book of starters. You know, you're 3 foot off, 6 foot off, 9 foot off. You can cut a bunch of books and then arrange them in a way that makes sense on your plank. Then yeah, sometimes it's worth it to cut all your books of starters. And even you can even do your enders on the saw table as well. But I found a lot of times that the walls will go out or in, and pretty soon your enders don't work anyways. So there's a lot of different ways to do things. This is the way that I've found works for me. The only deal is it kind of becomes a solo project the way that I do it. You can have different people working on different walls. It doesn't hardly make sense to have 2 guys on one wall. Although it is nice pumping up the pump jacks and bringing them back down. You don't have to walk back and forth so much. when I figured out this wall for how much siding I thought I'd need. I know the wall's about 30 feet long. I knew it was about 20 feet from the bottom to the bottom of those blocks. So 30 times 20, about 600 square feet. And then I knew I need probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 square feet in this gable. So I figured it was probably about 800 square feet of siding I needed. So I brought up 4 boxes, and I'm hoping that'll do the whole wall. Better off having a little bit of extra. You probably noticed how I like to put my plank upside down, my workbench. That way I can plop things inside of it. I just keep putting that pattern in my nail bags. I don't know if you can see it there. Good. Much as I can, I try to run out one box. That way I can get a little bit more room in my plank. Couple more pieces and I'll be able to get rid of that box. And what do we got? This is a full piece right here. Looks like maybe 4 more pieces and I'll be able to not have starters and enders anymore. Nail off this F channel. And the J channel. There we go. And what can I do? 2 more? 2 more pieces of soffit. That one was wanting to twist. I didn't like it. Looks like I can get one more. One more piece of poffit. There we go. And that block is right there. And next one's right there. Okay. I get one more piece of siding on before I run out of J-channel. What do I have? A full there? I can do a 4 foot off. Four feet right there. Got plenty of enders. Plenty of 4 foot enders, I should say. Doesn't look like it's gonna reach for there. This piece could have been a little bit bigger, but it'll be alright. Saying I could have cut some off of that. Could have cut some off of this piece here. But as long as I can get 2 staples in it, and I don't think it's gonna twist too much, then I'm happy. Okay. This is not gonna reach. And try to use this one of the smaller pieces. Ooh, let's see. Oh, that's right on. Man. Conserve all I can. Usually when I start a house, I'll start on the gable ends because you make a lot of scraps that are, you know, 3 foot, 4 foot scraps that they're not gonna go anywhere on a gable end, but you can use them in the front of the house a lot of times wherever you have windows that are closer together. Use those scraps up, and sometimes you get by with less siding than you would actually measure on the house wall area. Ooh, look at that. Thing works out. That's the one that broke. Man, you see I got 1.5 inch overlap. That's plenty. Okay. 2 more pieces of siding in that box. I'm getting rid of that thing. Ooh. Go bye-bye. Bye-bye. And I'll put these like this. And I'm hoping that the wind doesn't catch that end. Seems like the wind has been blowing that direction. What am I hitting? The box. There we go. Long ways up. Part of the reason why I'm getting out of this. I don't like the heights anymore. Everybody should just build short houses. Okay. Probably should tape that thing. And I don't have the tape up here. Come on. Try to get it to move so I can get past here. Get a little bit more. There we go. Right up to the top. Maxed right out. I gotta go down and get a ladder anyways. I gotta get a ladder to get to that top. BRB. Alright, I'm back. I got some zip tape now. Much better. Stego tape's expensive too. I feel like this is the part where I say that this is being done by trained professionals and I'm actually a stuntman or something. I've been doing this for years, so it's pretty safe. Started when I was 15, like I've said. I'm 38 now. I did fall once, but that was off a 8-foot ladder when I was like 18 and didn't get hurt. Got really lucky though, because when you fall, you're standing there on solid ground and then you're sitting on the ground and you wonder what happened, or you think you're on solid footing, I should say. And that's what happened to me. My ladder kicked out. I had it sitting on some ice, and yeah, it was really surprising. I blinked and I was sitting on the ground. My feet were in between the rungs of the ladder, and I landed on top of the ladder. To this day, I don't know how I didn't break my legs, because I landed with my full weight on top of my own legs, and I don't even think I got a bruise. So yeah, I got lucky. I'll go right up tight, and I'm marking it with that other F channel. That's the word I'm looking for, F channel. And I think I'm gonna two-piece the next one. The other side. I'll start up top and work my way down. I gotta put a little bit of tape right there too to cover that hole. Where's the tape? There you are. Okay, all set with that. You can hear that siding break down there. Got some ice in this F channel. And I'm going to snip off this bottom leg so that the siding or the soffit can get by there. And there we go. I don't think this piece is long enough to reach the whole thing, and it's not, so I'm going to use the smaller one. That way I'm not putting such a small piece on hand. And this F channel gets covered up by the J channel anyway, so it doesn't have to be perfect. There can be a little gap in there, it can be a two-piece. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. That's a double negative. So it will hurt something, you mean? It's like it drives me nuts when people say what do they say? I couldn't, no, it's not I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less actually makes sense. I'll figure out what I'm trying to say here, maybe. Okay. And J channel. The wind settled down a little bit, so not blowing my metal off currently. Ooh, trying to clean that out. A little bit of dirt in there. Oh, I could care less. That's what people say. I could care less. I could care less. So you do care a little bit then, is what you're saying. I don't know. I'm kind of weird. There we go. Now we can slip this one into that one. And I like to put it behind, nail fin behind the other one. It doesn't really make much of a difference. It seems like it fits a little better that way. There we go. Going right up tight. Still need to fix this hose. You probably noticed I'm trying to do the trim now. Do all the trim. If you can do things in a sequence, then it makes it a lot easier. Seems to go quicker. Like I've already said probably a million times. Get all the trim on, then you're not fighting it when you're doing the siding. He's really leaking the air now. I don't know, for me, I think it helps for me too, because I'm able to focus. Focus on one task at a time. I'm not getting distracted and taking a 5-second break or 30-second break, wondering what I'm going to do next. I can just say, I'm putting on F channel right now, and I just put it all on if I can reach it all. I think you're just switching pieces less too, so it seems to help a lot. And now I'm like, okay, putting on soffit, F channel, J channel, soffit, metal, and then siding. It's like one task at a time. Singular focus. You're handling less materials at a time. You're not trying to juggle a million things. And having things fall and all that. Let's see, 4 pieces. Might do it, but I'll grab one extra just in case. Looks good. Yep, 4 pieces was plenty. I'm not gonna do that, I don't want it to crack. Okay. A lot safer to put a white nail on this thing. Well, apparently it wants to bend over, but good enough. I'm gonna go right up tight there, 3 inches, 2 7/8. So I'll go 2 7/8 on the whole thing. bumping you guys on the wall. Actually, I'll still go 3 inches on the backside. Why not? Okay. Okay, now I'm back. Go up pretty tight with the outside. And send one right through there. And then one at the top so it can't twist on me. Pull it down on the nail where it's supposed to be. Well, I guess that ain't gonna work out this time. Usually I'll let it hang down a 1/2 inch below, but didn't work out that time. Okay. Thought the wind was gonna break that, bend that siding a minute ago. Bent it right over. I have about 10% battery on this thing. I had to switch the batteries because the other one died. And it's probably getting kind of grainy, I bet. Picture. Ooh. Now, take it all up with me and toss down what I don't need. Got those Canada gooses, the goosers. Wonder if we'll hear somebody shooting them. A bunch of them. I don't know if you could see them back there. You can only turn around so much. I'm gonna go right up tight, 3 1/4. Ooh, it's different. So we got 2 7/8 to 3 1/4. Two and 7/8, and it was 3 1/4 on the inside. I think I did that right. Yep. There's just kind of a guesstimation there. I'm gonna go right up tight. I might actually have to put some caulking in there, which I don't generally like to do, but and from the ground you wouldn't see it. But let's see, pull this out. I might throw some caulking in there. Maybe. We'll see. Got some extra soffit. Bye-bye. Okay. Don't need that gun on anymore. And now it's time to put on the metal. See where I made that mark? Right there. Looking good. Perfect. It looks like my scraps of metal will be long enough to get the top, so that's great. And I'm not going to nail the bottom of this yet because I need to slide the bottom one up into this. And I'm not getting my metal until a few days here, so I'm going to start a nail there just so the wind can't take that. And that'll be the one nail I put in the overlap. Okay. Make sure we got an overlap there. What do we have? Plenty. An inch or two is plenty of overlap. Usually I can see by looking at the bottom, but it's getting kind of dark out. And the picture quality is probably going to pot. I actually have the lights, the light mod. Got 2 of those coming, so when it gets to be like this, I'll be able to put those on. You guys will actually be able to see what I'm doing. Didn't want that nail anyways. Dropped a nail. Trying to hide that nail more or less under that shadow board. And nail this top before I forget. Same here. You probably noticed I'm putting my overlaps in the metal going down so it sheds water. I've had people tell me put them the other way. I'll do 14 with that side and 14 with that side. Okay, so both sides are 14. Yeah, I put them the other way, that way you can't see the joints from the ground. And yeah. It's all right. But you really should caulk the seam, that way water can't run in there and rot out the fascia board. Okay, this side's looking pretty good. Just gonna snip off the end here. The end is a little bit mucked up. Okay. So 14 inches. That's on the bottom. And this one It's going to face that way. The seam in this metal. That's a 10 pitch or a 40-degree angle. Getting hard to see, guys. There we go. And it looks like this piece is pretty good too. So I'm going to start right here. And I'll go my 10 pitch. I'm just making a little tick right there. And a little tick right here, because this is going to be the overlap piece. And 14 inches again. I'll cut it off right there. So I'm going to have to knife a couple of these because of the way that the snips cut. If I had lefty snips, which they do make, somebody thought I was pulling their leg once. If I had lefty snips, this blade is on the other side, and I could actually snip this right here. But because this is my good piece on the left side, I don't want to roll that edge. I'll bend that thing and make it look like garbage. So instead I'm just going to knife along this. Knife along that. And I'm doing the score and snap method. And same thing over here. This one. Knife this. Okay, now that I got those, I can snip it in the places I need to. There, there, and there. And just go up to that point and come down to that point. Now I can bend that around. Now that'll snap off because I have everything snipped. And I'll do this much the same way. Like that. And I'll head that way. And now my mark is right there. You might not be able to see it very well. I'm snipping straight up to that mark at the strapping band and heading down there. Just getting rid of some of this extra stuff here. Wow, I'm forgetting what I'm doing. Okay, yeah, I don't need all that. And get rid of that. Okay. That goes down there. Fold that bit up. And snip along to that point there. Okay. Have everything cut, and now I just need to snap off this part that I scored, and the same thing on the other one. And that's right there. There we go. Now these will come together like this. Get rid of these things before they blow down. Those are all my scraps. That long piece I do need there. Okay. Well, I'm gonna put on my piece with my overlaps first. There we go. Usually I try to leave that point about a half an inch down, but it's looking good all the way up. And I don't know if I'm gonna really use this footage, guys, but because right now I'm pretty certain you can't see much of anything. Getting hard for me to see. And once again, the roofer put his drip edge really tight. I got it to go in without bending it. Sometimes you gotta be careful because you can crease this stuff. Trying to squeeze it in to the drip edge. Whoops. Bumping around the GoPro. So I generally just put one face nail just so the wind can't catch it. Oh no, oh no. It bent. Okay, come on. Must have found a knot. Oh, no! It's really difficult. Alright. It is the next day. We're at November 2nd. I didn't quite get it yesterday, but I was very, very close. And there's that nail that's poking out. I got a pair of vice grips. Yeah, I gotta carefully twist this thing out. Okay. Maybe the third time's the charm. We shall see about that. Trying to pound into a knot. The problem is I already made a hole in the metal. I don't want to just leave a hole. I could get a drill and drill this out, but with enough attempts, with a white nail, I should be able to get it. So I'd need a really skinny drill bit to get this. Ooh, the struggle bus. Nope, no, I'm just, there we go. I was twisting the nail. Let's see. This is number 5 maybe. You guys are like, I'm watching this guy try and fail 100 times, put in one nail. this kind of stuff we deal with. If I leave a hole in the metal there, it's not going to look good. So even if this nail breaks off right there, it's going to look better than leaving a hole in the metal. Yep, there we go. Broke off. That's a little bit better. And I'm going to try to put one more nail in it because that one's really not doing anything. Oh goodness, guys. Here we go. It ain't perfect. I scuffed the metal a little bit right there. But good thing is it's about 30 feet in the air. Actually, the top of that pole is 30 foot. So that right there, probably another 3 feet. So it's gonna look fantastic from the ground. It's my very official ladder holder. And I'm hooking on that clip right there and just holding it in line with the bottom of this clip. I'm just gonna go right over top of the J channel. Looks like 147.5 is pretty tight. And there's a gap here, so I think that's going to be pretty good. 147.5. Okay. So I've done this a few times, guys, but I'll do it once more. 147.5, and I'll show you how I go about figuring out my pieces so I don't have to measure each one individually. I have the Construction Master Pro here, and what I know is that I have an 8-inch rise. So I'm going to say I have an 8-inch rise, and I know that this is a 10-inch pitch, or 10-12, so 10-inch pitch. Okay, with those two measurements, the rise and the angle, My calculator will tell me how far back it comes from the bottom to the top in that 8-inch area. If I said the rise, I said the pitch, now I need the run. That's what's called the run. So the run on that piece there is 9 5/8. Okay, so on 9 5/8 on that side, and also 9 5/8 on the other side. So I just need to times 2. Whoops. 9 5/8 times 2. 19 1/4. So I know each piece is going to shrink that 19 1/4 all the way up. So I can actually get all those measurements, write them all down. So we got 147 1/2 minus 19 inches and 1/4, 128 1/4. And once again, it's kind of funny, I forgot that calculators had that function. You just hit equal again, and it just simply minuses that same dimension from the new number. This is a lot faster than measuring each piece individually. Even if it's off a little bit, you just make a small adjustment. So there it is. We have all our measurements all the way up to the peak. And I'll cut probably, I can just cut one at a time and make any little adjustments I need as I go. And by the way, right now I'm not getting any money for saying I have Construction Master Pro. That's just what we use, most people use that I know of. Pretty convenient to have it on your phone. You usually have your phone with you. I think it was 20 bucks when I bought it, the app. I use it to figure out my rafters, stair treads, all that too. Oh, bumping you guys around. Hopefully I didn't change the angle. Or maybe, hopefully I did change it if the angle wasn't good. Okay, it's got room to go in both directions. Now if I didn't do what I just did there, I'd have to hook that again, measure that out, or measure it out before I put it up. But I know my next measurement's 128 1/4. And this is where, you know, cutting this with a saw could be a little faster maybe. If I went down and cut everything, but also if you try to a lot of times if you try to do that, now you're taking the chance that the gable, something in the gable has a variance, and next thing you know, you get to the top and the pieces aren't working. So I think it's best to just do 1 or 2, 3 pieces at a time and staple them in. That way you can make any little adjustments you need to. You don't end up with a big gap where it's not really working anymore, or it's getting too tight. It's a little bit small, but it is pretty good. It's in the J. I'll add a little bit to the next one. It is fairly cold out, so it is good to have more room to grow. Next one's 109. So I'll go 109 1/4. Just add a little bit to it. See how it works. These directions that I'm snipping tend to work out pretty well for me. The dynamics of the ribs and where it likes to crack generally doesn't tend to crack on the piece that I'm trying to use. Adding that little bit I think is a good idea. And one I had 89 3/4. Actually, looks like this piece is long enough. 89 3/4. So we'll go 90. Can actually hear my brother-in-law. He's hand nailing siding on about a 1/4 mile from me. Once again, when you add to the length, you add a little bit more than you think, because it actually doesn't make a whole lot of a difference, because the angle, if I was to add a 1/2 inch now, it would still be, it'd still fit decent. And that was the 89. And now we're on to 70 and a half. So I'm gonna go 71. I don't think this will be long enough. Oh, it is. Nice. So I'm adding a 1/2 inch to this one. The other one was a bit shorter. Definitely want to get rid of that. That would bump into the J channel and contact first. Okay. Yeah, there's enough room for that to move around, even when it heats up and expands. Well guys, we about sided a whole gable. If you guys stuck it out, 51 1/4. So I'll go 51 3/4. And the next one is 32. Go 32 1/2. And next one is 12 3/4. That's the last piece. Whoops, I'll go 13 1/4. That's that. And you notice I'm just gonna go for it and cut all the rest of them now. Save myself a little bit of up and down on the ladder there. Go up once and be done with it. A little bit frosty out today. Probably won't need that anymore, so long as things don't crack. So let's see, not last night, but the other night I watched Goodnight Oppie on Amazon. It was pretty good. All about Spirit and Opportunity, the two rovers that NASA sent to Mars. And yeah, they weren't expecting a whole lot from them. I mean, they were expecting something, but they weren't expecting them to last very long. And yeah, they drove them around for quite a while out there. Pretty neat. Pretty neat little documentary. I enjoyed it. Good night, Oppie. I remember hearing about that when it finally lost its power. It's kind of sad, it's kind of funny because it's a little robot. It's kind of hard to staple when you can't put the staple gun sideways, so these last couple pieces will get hand nailed. There we are, guys. Last piece. There we go. All done. Well, except for the metal down there, but we don't have that, so we'll have to finish that up another day. All the staging is going to come down. There's a tiny gap right there. Honestly, I think I'm just gonna let it be. It's gonna be dark right there anyway, so. Cool. Well, thanks for hanging out, guys. If you made it this far, I'm actually quite amazed. Quite amazed if anybody watched this whole thing, because I don't think I'm gonna edit it. I think I'm just gonna put it out there as 8 hours of footage, or however long it took me to do this. And just because there's actually a fair amount of information if you want to do a professional job, professional quality job when you're doing vinyl. It's yeah, it takes some people, it takes them years to get a good feel for this. And you know, for people thinking they can just figure it out in 20 minutes or a 5-minute little clip, it's not realistic. It's not gonna happen. There's lots of things I was taught. There's lots of things that I had to figure out on my own. Sometimes you have to get a little bit creative. And try to basically invent a new way of doing things. But don't be scared to try. And come up with your own solutions. There's lots of ways to do things. You know, the main thing with vinyl is make it look nice. That's the #1 job, make it look nice. Or you could say #1 job would be to make it watertight to protect the house from rot. So that's it, guys. I might show you, I'll probably show you when I come back and put this metal on, so you can see how I take care of that. Just gonna pop this nail here and slide it all the way up. I got my first nail back there, so it'll go in and slide it all the way up, then all the way back down. But yeah, that's it. I'll give a view from the ground when I get down there. Bye bye. All right, I'm back. I bent my metal. And hopefully I don't throw it down this time like I did last time. Trying to get this box on, get this last piece of metal, and then this wall is completely done. So what do we have here? Measuring to the top of the bottom leg of the F channel, or like gently butting against the soffit there, and going down to the top of the corner, or to this soffit right there. We got 12 5/8. 12 5/8 on the inside. Make sure that's up tight right there. And then we're going up here again, just bumping the soffit. 12 3/4 is a little bit strong, maybe 12 5/8 across the whole thing actually. Yeah, that's gonna work just fine. So 12 5/8. We're gonna add our 1.5 inches, 14 1/8. Do the same thing on the inside here, or the inside corner edge. 14 1/8. Make sure that I'm in pretty tight there. It's a little less than 13, so I might be able to cut a little bit off of this, but we'll see when I go to put it in. These baskets, these man lifts, you hardly get any room to work sometimes, it seems like. Once again, I'm using my tape measure as a straight edge. And marking that nice and dark where I need to cut it, and I'll make a really light mark right here. A little bit lighter anyways. Cutting off the top of the flap. Going right down that corner. Guess I'll keep that. There we go. Once again, I'm just gently rolling this edge here. And the trick is to not put too much force in one area where you end up making a dimple in the piece, or bending it, putting a crease in it where you don't want it. It's actually a little bit easier to feel when I don't have my gloves on. And also, if you've watched a different video of mine, you're putting a more concentrated point of contact. This is actually pretty difficult to do without actually like creasing it somewhere and making a line going down. Usually I overbend them. I suppose I can. That just tightens up that corner a little bit. And then once again, spreading out the force, using my belly to flatten that out a little bit. This is something that might take some time to perfect for most people, and it did for me. Just the way that it feels before it creases, the very finessed thing. Okay, I will have to cut some out of the back there. It's contacting the F channel and it's making the piece tip weird. And cutting off that top edge, basically in line with about 1 inch down from that strapping there. A little bit chilly out today, guys. Not wearing a hat either. My ears are getting cold. That heater sounds really nice right now. Don't drop it. Okay. So like I was saying, this back top edge was hitting first. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim that a little bit. All this is hidden behind the J channel and the top of the corner, so I don't really need to worry about it being too pretty. And turning that corner is something I don't usually do, but since it's such a shallow corner, it doesn't really deform the piece very much. Okay. I actually cut that up a little bit too high. Just bumping into that right there. So I want to trim that before I mark that end. I'd rather be a little too high than too low. Okay. Right there. Looking good. And we're going to trim out this, mark out this back side. And I'm just going in a bit right there, and about the bottom point is what really matters. And I want to make sure this is a 1/2 inch down from this bottom of the fascia, or in line with this bottom soffit. So that's a point that matters. I can go straight in with this nail, and just like I did on the other box, I'm going to angle this one going down a little bit. That way it pulls this tight in between those two nails. I'm going to let this sink down a little bit, and I'll put a nail. Actually, I'm just gonna nail inside that J pocket. Oh, I don't have the tool for that. I have my nail punch, but it fell out of my bags. So I guess I'm gonna go on this side and just leave that nail exposed. That'll be all right. That's all looking pretty good. That's a little bit away, but it'll go in when we put our gable metal up. Chilly. Okay. Hoping I can use that the metal that I bent with this other stuff It is 10 foot. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut out from this point to there is 22 1/8 exactly. And like I was saying, I want to use, I bent a new one, but it's not quite the same as the old one that I had. Come on, there we go. This one ended up all dinged on the end right there. It's all bent up, somehow that happened. So hopefully it measures a little bit longer than 10 foot. I'll be able to use that. Nope. Alright, so we're just gonna go with the new piece that I bent. And off the bottom it was 22 1/8. I can go a little more than that. This piece is longer. Go 22 1/2. I have a pretty nice blade for this. Pretty fresh blade, so you can get a good score. Just roll it down carefully so you don't crease it. And work that thing loose. It's windy out a little bit. Okay, now I gotta get rid of that nail right there. That's gonna be in the way. Using my hand to protect that metal so I don't crease it with my hammer. Okay. For now I'm gonna put it over top the other one. Even though that's not how I install it. We're lining up this bottom cut right with this edge here. So slide it down till it's good. Okay, that's right where I want it. Just like we've done before. I'm gonna throw a tack in this. I'm just not gonna pound it all the way in. Just get it started. Just to hold it there. Now I can move down and move to where I need to be to mark this end here. You guys can see this a little better this time, how I did it before. Get right on the back side so you can see what I'm doing. You want to assure that it's flat all the way across there, it's all the way up. And I'm scribing along this bottom edge here. That lets me know where to put the hem. And now you can actually see this. Mark the bottom. Make sure that's in tight. Marking this end here. Marking that bottom there. You want to go square in, not necessarily following the strapping bend there. And right up there. Okay. Those are all the marks we need to make our cuts. Yeah, boom up and get rid of that nail there. And very gently just kind of pulling and twisting that so it slips right out. Okay, I can see that I can cut off probably easily 6 inches off the top. I don't want the overlap as big as it is right now. I'm just going to double check that just so I don't cut off too much. We have 10'7", okay? So we knew a 10-footer was long enough, so I will cut off 6 inches. The reason why is because I gotta slip it in there like way up, and I don't want to have to do that so much. This top cut is nearly not going to matter very much. What it looks like is behind the other piece of metal. Even having that bottom leg snipped like that won't matter. Go down so I can shut this lift off. Okay. First one I do is the bottom here. Cutting a little tiny bit off more than my mark. Same thing here, and I can snip up this way, and making sure I'm not going further in than this line right here. So I want to snip it up right there just to get that out of the way, and we can go in with that line a little bit up. Now I'm going to move this down out of the way, and just because I'll get rid of that little knob there, and snipping that. Bend it up, snip this bottom leg in line with the top strapping bend, and just assuring that you're cutting it far enough back where this point isn't going to poke out up here. See, that's in now. Okay, I'm going to leave that down a little bit, and now we can get our hem piece on. Holding that bottom point right there, halfway on that line. Move it up a little bit so I can see where the line's at, and just trying to mark it where I think it's going to contact right on that point there. That can be a little short. Rather be a little short than a little bit too long. And that point isn't actually sneaking past over there. Sometimes it does, so I got in the habit of snipping that top off. Okay, right there, we're halfway on that mark. And once again, making sure that you're not gonna bunch this stuff up by nailing in, so you're better off nailing out at an angle and kind of using your hammer to move the nail over as you're driving it in. And I'm going to widen this out just a little bit so that the metal can slip in there easier. And you do want to nail closer to the bottom edge. You don't want to nail way up there because it's still going to flop around a lot if you do it that way. Okay. And gonna try sneak this behind the other one. Hopefully I can do it from down here. Yep, there we go. And we're gonna go kind of way up in there. Might not have to go so far. I might be able to sneak it above it right here. Be very careful when you do something like this. There we go. you don't want to end up creasing the piece. Okay, I just didn't want to slip it so far because it kind of scuffs the metal, so up there. Catching on that tab. There we go. And making sure we're on the right side of this. And there we are. I believe that's in the same spot we were, but I can go and put the nail up there just to assure that we're in the same spot. We'll use that same exact hole, kind of feel around for it right there. And I don't want to pound it too tight because it'll start to make a dimple right here and make a little bubble in that metal. If I do, I can kind of give it a gentle little tap right there to get the bubble out. Very gentle. And little taps just to get that seated in. I usually don't put any nails up here because sometimes there's not really very good nailing. Go. Little hole right there, but there's not much you can do when you have this rib right there. And I'll go up, nail the top. And that's it for this wall, guys. I'll bring you along for the ride. Hopefully I don't run into the wall and have to redo things. I've done that before. A very, very nice lot right here. Right on the pond. I generally do 5 nails in the metal. Like I've been saying, 5 nails each piece seems to be plenty for me. Now, I don't know, if you're in a windy area, you might want to do more. Won't hurt anything to do more nails. And then I always put a nail in this seam right here, like I've said before, so wind can't get in there and wiggle that piece. So what'll happen is it'll wiggle that piece, wiggle, and then it'll get that nail out. It'll bore a little hole right there, and then it's just like a domino effect. All the nails come out and bye-bye metal. That's that, guys. See, show you how it looks from the ground here. One thing I will note is that there's the siding didn't actually end up perfectly straight across that at that level, and kind of irritates me a little bit. The way to avoid that is to chalk a line there, put that first row on like I've said before, and put that first row on and make sure it's nice and level, nice and straight, and then start the whole thing, run it right up to the top, and then drop down below and just use that first row to measure off to get this whole bottom going. On the next house I do, I'm going to show you how I do that. But yeah, that's it for that. And despite my my musings or my disappointment in like the little wiggles here and there. It's really tight, really nice job. That's my personal problem. I'm a pretty fussy person, so you know, an artist's work is never perfect, right? So that's it, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Like I've said before, I'll pin a comment with links to purchase all the tools that I use. And yeah, till next time, bye.